stuff with young people. That doesn't work.
Okay, stop. Okay, so we're doing this. We thought it was a good thing to do this for young people. We call it the Singles Virtual Summit, and we just want to share our story. We've been friends. We've been married for.
Been married for 19, going to 20 years.
Yes.
And we've been friends for about 21
20
years.
about 21 years.
Going to 21 years.
So we just want to share our story and encourage people, and perhaps, should I say, break the myth?
Well, is there really a myth? There isn't really a myth about marriage. It's just making the right decisions at the right time.
Right.
That's what it is.
Because it's the same thing as this one.
Okay. So who's right there? I mean, just make a comment.
So we're gonna wait for you to share stuff with us, to let us know what questions you want to ask. But before then, maybe we should just start sharing our stories and saying what happened. How did you find this babe? How did you find this girl?
No, the truth about it is that my search predates you.
Now you're going spirit.
No, there's no spirit about it. It's just that I did quite a lot of stuff before I woke up. So you do stuff,
right?
And you learn from stuff.
But they keep saying that you didn't send. I can no send. Who this babe can no send before? So how come that's what they thought about you, that you didn't have any time for anybody?
Because I was so to speak a public figure,
okay.
And within the confines of an environment.
Right.
So everybody who was in that environment knew me and liked me in a way. So everybody was always second guessing who Ken is going to get.
Who is going to get married?
Yes, because I used to sing.
You used to sing?
No, I still sing.
Okay, so sing for me.
No, not yet.
Hang on. Okay, so I'll come to the part where he sang. Where he sang for me. So when I came into the scene, I didn't know anything about. We went to a beach party. It was Uche Obona's beach party.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Uche. I didn't know him. I went with my friends, Muta and Jude.
Yeah.
And so we got to the beach, and so they were the only ones I really knew at the beach. We were in the tent. You know how you go into a tent and you kind of like where you kind of refresh before. It was a whole fun thing. Mm-hmm. So I get into the tent, and my friend, the family I got there with, and their children. And then after a while, I spot this young man.
She spot this
young man. He walks in, mm-hmm. and I don't know him, but all the kids are like, "Oh, Uncle Ken," and I'm thinking, okay, okay. But that kind of stuck because for kids, if they don't like you, they don't like you. They don't know how to pretend. So for me, that kind of stuck. And what I did that I thought I look back now and laugh is that even though I liked what I saw, because of the brand,
hard to get. She likes me.
I like what I saw, but it wasn't obvious. I took a walk out of the tent. Can you imagine that? I left the tent when I saw something in the tent that caught my interest. It's a brand strategy. It's a brand tactics. That's what happened. So I walked out.
Anyway, so what happened? What happens? This is what happens. I've been in certain relationships that didn't work out.
Right.
All of them just bungled up.
Right.
The last one was a very, very, very. I missed being infected.
Right.
By being infected by a deadly disease, whiskers. By whiskers. So after that incident, I decided, okay, Ken, you need to pray about this thing. You need to relax, and then you need to now be very, very serious about what you're doing. And so I said to myself, I'm not going to play around anymore. I want a woman and I want someone to get married to. I'm not interested in all of that anymore. Right. So I come to this beach party and I see this babe. Babe. I'm like, okay, all right. But we've got a lot of babes around. What's the big deal anyway? So I see this babe. I'm like, and the first time I saw her, my eyes went like, like those what you call it, those cartoon movies that the eyes pop out like a spring and come back to the eyes. So that was exactly what happened to my eyes. It just went boom. Okay, I said, all right. What charm does she have? What's she doing to me? I mean, which of the covens does she got?
To do this, right?
But anyway, so I saw her and she was all right. But I said to myself, look, guy, you just come out from a very dangerous
relationship. Kind of calm down.
Chill. But what made me a bit comfortable was that she was in the company of a couple that I did respect a lot.
Right.
So I felt, look, if this person is in the company of this couple,
right,
then there must be something about her that's right. There's a Christian couple,
right,
serious couple,
right,
not the kind of couple that wants to mess around
right,
and all of that. The couple with track record,
right,
and just a very good Christian home with blessed with 3 children.
Right.
So I thought to myself, so if she's in the company of these 2 people, then I think I'm comfortable. But I wasn't even thinking about anything. I just said to myself, can you just slow down?
Anyway, so what happened in that beach? So when he had a kind of you were known for something. So he had people in the beach. What they do is anyone who came into that beach had to go out, had to be baptized, in the water.
All right, Kenny Bello, I see you.
Hi, Kenny. Hello,
hi,
Kenny.
How you doing?
So what we would do is we would so he was like the kingpin of a whole gang.
Yeah,
what they were doing was everyone who got into the beach, they made sure you were baptized in the water. You couldn't go there dry and leave dry. It was impossible.
Please, people, judge in yourselves. How can you come to a beach party and not get wet? So what's wrong with us who are getting wet?
So they were doing all of that, So they were getting people. A particular lady was sitting, I think it was Mary, and she was standing beside me. So she strapped her child on the back, and that was her security to say, you know what? There's no way in the world they're going to get me into the beach. So you know what they did? They just came to her, held her, unstrapped her baby, and took her right into the water. I found it so funny because I was new here. I didn't know anybody other than the family I'd come with. So I told myself, these guys, they don't know me. There's no way in the world. Unknown to me, he had an ulterior motive. He had a motive.
Look, it was simply the fact that you are in the beach.
You have to get wet.
You must get wet.
So they came for me. I said, no. I'm not I'm not in your team. I'm sorry. I'm a guest here. This guy is not listening because their Oga had sent them. So they just give. I said, they pulled out I said, I can't see without my glasses. I pulled all sorts of. Nothing worked. They just carried me, and then I heard them say, that wave is too small. Wait for a bigger wave. Can you imagine? They baptized me in the water. I came out dripping with salty water and seashells. Boy. It was crazy. And then I saw him standing on the door. I said, you were the one. He said, not me. That was my first.
Not me.
That was the second. I said,
really?
You got me. He said, no.
Not me.
After that, what happened?
Well, after that, I started thinking, then I started getting interested. Not on that day. That day was purely play.
Right.
But after then, I started thinking...
But before I left, you told me that we didn't have information.
Yeah, but I mean, that was...
Information.
That was purely information. I had nothing. What happened that day was the one of the children of the couple
straight off.
And you know how it could be rowdy at the beach.
Right.
So we were all in a frenzy looking for him. And eventually he was found. And I know she was also.
So you told me.
I know she was also.
Or you had to strike a conversation somehow, right?
No, I already had a conversation. I mean, I didn't have to strike any conversation. I mean, I'm a smooth talker. You know that. Oh, goodness.
Anyway.
But I didn't have to strike any conversation.
Right.
I just came. I knew you were looking for him as well. So I said, oh, look, they found him. Stop
searching.
Don't be in a frenzy.
Right.
Everything's all right. This is just a jolly good beach party.
Right.
That's great. So we did that, and I did tell her, and then they went home.
We went home.
Okay, we all went home.
We went home, yeah.
But she didn't go away from my heart.
Right. Why? Why did you keep me in your heart?
Oh, she's a beautiful woman. You can see. lovely. I mean, I'm like, okay. Okay, because number one, I like lovely women. It's just something that I like. So she's a beautiful woman. So it kept on ringing. This lady. And I'm like, okay, look, Ken, you're a smooth guy.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah, I hear you.
You can conquer. So I said to myself, okay, yeah, well, let me think about this. I need to ask some questions. And I think that's one of the things that singles need to do.
Yeah.
Listen. Marriage is the single most important decision that you're going to make in your life.
True.
So you can't make that decision on who to get married to with your emotions.
True. Just your emotions.
Just your emotions. You can't do that with just your emotions. You have to do it. You have to do that with your head. Everything has to be involved. Right. So anyway, I started asking questions. I started asking the couple. I said, "Look, who's that girl that came with you? Who's she?
Who really is she?
Who really is she? Where's she from?" And the first thing I asked really was, "What family is she from?" And they said, "Well, it's a humble home, civil servants." I said, next question I asked is, are the parents still together? She said, yes. As far as I know, they are still together. And I said, that was quite interesting because, you see, and I'm not saying that people who come from broken homes can keep homes. I'm just saying that mostly people who are from homes that are together are more prone to keep their marriages together. So that was the next thing I asked. And after asking that question, and I found out that those two questions were intact. Yeah, in the affirmative.
You hit the ball,
man, it's time to move. It's time to move.
There's some questions were sent. So that's what happened. That was the beginning of it all. And then what happened after that when he came to so I didn't know. I didn't put him in my. I had seen him. He was a good guy. I was at a point in my life where I was saying, you know what, God, I want you to settle me. I don't want to help you.
Settle you with Ken.
I don't want to help you. I can help God. I've done it before. I don't want to help you. I want to just you know what is best for me. And I was saying to him, this man that I'm going to live with, he's on earth already. Just create a meeting. The earth is yours, Lord. Just you can figure out how to do. You're God. Wherever he is, let there be a divine connection. Give him a divine.
I told you there was something she did that made my eyes pop.
Hold on. I said, give him a divine restlessness. Let him feel like, I need to get myself together. I need to get my woman. I need to get my girl. I need to be found, sort of thing. So, I was trusting God, and I was serious about it. So I wasn't really I wasn't looking at anything. After that meeting at the beach, that was for me that I didn't really do anything more about it. And then one day I found out that my friend said, "Oh, there's a guest, someone coming to the house." I didn't even know who was there. Someone rang the bell and said it was Brother Ken. I said, "Okay, so I don't know who that is." And she said, "Oh, yeah, my brother." And then I went downstairs. And there he was, all suited up, by the way, I'm like, I wasn't ready for a meeting. I didn't prepare for him. I was dressed in my pajamas. I didn't like the whole idea. I wasn't prepared for that sort of stuff. I didn't treat him properly.
Yeah, she was very, very off that day.
I was nasty.
Just telling me
I was nasty. I was nasty.
I just had a hard day at work. And she said I was suited up, but I just went to work. That's how I go to work. So she was like,
I was off, and I wasn't.
So I ask a question, she gives me 2x4 answers.
I wasn't cooperative at all.
One-on-one.
I felt like I had been set up with my friend, and she should have told me at least. I have a sense of dressing. How about? So I felt like they didn't tell me, they didn't give me any heads up, and this was a big surprise. I wasn't ready for that. I was ready to go to bed. So I didn't feel good about it, and I took it out on him. You see?
Okay.
I took it out on him.
I took it
out on him.
Hi, Kaite, how you doing?
Not sure why Philip is trying to call me.
Okay, so anyway, so she took it out on me, and when she took it out of me, I took it like a man that I am. I took it like a man that I am. I said, okay, no problem. It be like saying at night, cause this one. Next time I'll come in the afternoon.
So after the meeting, my friends came to so I felt bad. So I didn't even see him off. I just went to my room and I put the lights. I was not happy about what kind of meeting is this one. I know how to meet. Come on. Hey. So my friends came and said to me, that guy, have you seen your and I said, who? No. I said, have you seen your husband? How? Are you sure in a relationship? Oh, calm down. Both of them, I watched them date and get married. So we've been friends for a bit. And I said, Jude said, I always thought that you marry a music minister, you will be a preacher, he will be a minister, you will have a church. I told you marry an Igbo man and Okoro. I used to tell you this. Everything was just a big. I was like, what are you? I don't even know what it is you're saying. So he was like, calm down. That's how we always. That's how you all start.
That's all of now they talk. You just
relax. So they just kind of talked to me that night and said, don't put God in a box, kind of thing. Open your mind and see what He's saying. I was upset that I didn't meet him. I'm an image consultant. There's something in me that wants to put your best foot forward. I can't meet somebody in my pajamas. Come on. So, but that night,
I wasn't looking for your foot.
I didn't know.
I was looking for your hat. You can't put a best hat forward. I mean, really.
So you know what happened? So they talked to me like, friends that knew me. They were like godparents to me. Talked to me and then just left it open and, went to bed. That night, I really couldn't sleep, but I have never slept so well. I can't explain it.
You see, look,
hold on.
It's a tranquilizer.
It's like a paradox. I didn't sleep like sleep, but
it's called relax. Let me explain what happened to
you. You sleep. Hold on, Joe. So I didn't sleep like but I had an encounter that night. I'll tell you what happened to me. It looked like when Jacob said the Lord was here, and it occurred to me that this guy that came in to see me had everything I wanted, and I had chased him away. That was my fear. Hold on. I said, Yvonne, you have, with your whatever, you've chased this guy away. Yes. So,
and I almost ran away.
And you know what happened? I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying because I was upset already. So whenever I asked a question, I would just, answer it rudely, and I was just putting a defense. I remembered everything he said. It just came back. For me, I think that was divine. It just came back.
It wasn't divine. It was my charm. Look, forget all. You see, this is the problem. You see, this is the problem with people. This is the problem. Instead of them to give credit to whom credit is due, they begin to talk about it was a spiritual. It was my charm. Give it to me. It was my charm.
Okay, so that night I really didn't like sleep, but I had never been so rested. Very interesting. A huge paradox.
It's something you.
So and that night it occurred to me, it was like the blinders were off. Like, oh my word. I was so nasty. This guy was so patient. This guy was, so mature. Look, was so mature. Was so patient.
Excuse me. 1 minute. Ever patient. 20 years after, still patient.
Hold on. Okay. So I said, oh my goodness. This guy. And then what happened to me that I know, why I say it was divine, was that I began to have a fondness for him. What I mean was that I began to see him as someone I can help this guy. I can help this guy. Listen, can you let me just hold on? And they help me. Hold on.
It was my perfume.
So I was like, oh my goodness. I began to hear the things he was saying. I began to hear the stuff he was saying, and even though I wasn't paying attention, that's why I say it was divine. And then I began to hear. Then I said to myself, Yvonne, a young man came to see you. A good young man, gentle and kind-hearted, to balance off your gra-gra, and you have chased him away.
Yes. Chased a fine-looking guy like me.
You have chased him.
Moved me away.
I said to myself, oh my goodness. So I thought, but I remember that my friend's party was going to be on Saturday.
That was the only other chance. Chase him again on Saturday, and that's it.
So he was going to come on Saturday for the birthday, but she was going to. My friend's husband planned a party for her. Do you know? So the first event was, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday. The first time I met was a Wednesday or Thursday. So Saturday was like...
a Thursday, yeah?
So Saturday was like a long time coming for me. Me that didn't have his time the first time. Saturday was taking forever. Was taking a whole year to
That's
appear.
how it takes.
Take a whole year. So finally Saturday came. I went out earlier and did my hair. Because, the first time wasn't... I had to... You understand? I had to play my proper role as an image person. I did my hair. I set up. I was ready.
Oh,
I'm not a very makeup person, but I was ready to see this person. I didn't know what he felt because I wasn't nice to him the first time. So the whole day I was waiting and waiting. I didn't show it. I was waiting, with style. Nobody knew I was waiting. Well...
Nobody knew.
My friends knew. I don't know anybody else knew. And then, so, what he did that sort of impressed me eventually? He didn't come in the afternoon. He went for choir practice first. And then came for... So for me, it meant that... It meant
Seek
to me that...
first the kingdom of God and his righteousness.
Even though he was interested in...
Every other thing
will follow after.
Yvonne will be added onto you.
Even though he liked it.
This is just...
He still did what he was supposed to do. That for me, that was like, that was a good thing. So when he came that day, my friend husband came and said to me, the person you've been waiting for. I look at him and say, I'm waiting for, come on. I said, the person you've been waiting for has come. We are going to come. And they gave him a priority space upstairs. And so I had to look like he was nothing, as if I wasn't waiting for him. You have to, my mom said, bluff the guy, bluff him.
Well, let me be very frank with you. When I stepped upstairs and I saw her, I whistled without whistling. Without any sound. You don't give yourself
Oh my goodness.
But I think you were wearing a boo-boo.
Yeah, I wore a boo-boo.
She done some curls.
Yeah, my hair,
And,
very light makeup.
Man.
He was like,
oh my God.
Oh my God.
And I said to myself, not bad. But of course, you don't give out anything.
You don't give out anything.
These are...
We both held back stuff that we thought about each other.
So I said
but
to myself,
that second meeting for me was something I cannot forget. We sat down and had conversation like old friends.
Okay.
From one topic to another topic. We were talking about advertising, about stuff. It was just flowing. Before you could blink, it was what time? It was like from 7 to 10. Now, the first meeting, I didn't even see him off. Second meeting, it was like time was flying. I was enjoying the conversation. It was like, oh my goodness. It was, oh my word.
Hey, Apostle Felix.
Good to see you.
Good to see
Mama
you.
K.
Hey, Mama K, look at that.
So we did all of that, and then we went to after that was, he was a smooth guy, he was like calm and gentle, he was doing stuff, and I was thinking it was a beautiful conversation we had. Once I was done with that, I knew in my heart, this was home. This was good. This was home.
I knew all the while that, when I came in and I saw her in the boo-boo and all of that, and she was looking fly and so good, I said to myself, Lord, guy, you ain't missing this
You're
one.
not missing this one.
You're hitting right on target. So when I saw all of that, all the topics in my head, I arranged them properly. You ain't talking rubbish today. You ain't messing around today. You're getting this, you're getting into it, you're getting here, you're sitting your ass down there, and you are using all the funne in your life. Number one, all the funne you can speak, all the ideas you have, everything inside. This is, look,
and it works.
Hit it right now. Bend it while it is hot.
And it worked because, honestly speaking, I was like, wow, this guy is intelligent. Because in my experience in life, whenever a guy came to speak with me about relationships, it was either he was completely intelligent and no Christianity, or he was totally Christian and no. I'm thinking, can I have a balance where someone who loves the Lord also can be, worldly relevant, can be earthly relevant? So when I heard him speaking, I was thinking, okay, all right, it was just.
We've been learning that stuff for a very long time. So
you are not good for you.
So
right?
It was. So we got into conversation, and this is one thing that you should know if you're single. Start right now to develop yourself.
Absolutely,
because you don't know when you need it.
Yeah.
Don't be such that you're just wasting your time doing all kinds of rubbish that don't make any sense. Because you see, there's no way in the world that I would have struck off a good conversation if I wasn't in tune with what was going on Earth. So you read the news, analyze, just get into the groove of learning something. So that's one of the things that you need to do while we're talking. I just said to point that out. That you need to get yourself in a position where you are constantly improving who you are, and it doesn't stop. It's we never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
And so
because you still have conversations when you're married.
Absolutely.
And you cannot you cannot be out of touch. You have to be able to speak
Ninan, how you doing? Good
you must be able to speak intelligently, enjoy conversations, because all of life is not just, bedmatics and sex. It's also about relationship and communication. And if you grow apart, something's going to be wrong. So you have to keep improving yourself. Keep putting your best foot forward. Putting your best foot forward.
Chukwuemeka, my brother. What happened?
So keep putting your best foot forward. It has to be intentional. Has
Trump congratulated Biden?
So we said we're going to take questions. I don't know if you can put the questions on the comment section so we can just take it at once as we're having a conversation. In between, we can take the questions. I don't have the questions where I'm at. Yes. So, where's the phone? Because some of the questions are on the phone.
Some of the questions are on the phone. Okay. All right. Give me a second. I think my phone is...
No, that's not wrong.
Okay.
You go on.
Yeah, are we supposed to? Is somebody going to ask the questions? And then
I thought I wanted to. Is part of it is my phone?
Yeah, if Philip is there, could you just raise the comments with the questions?
Could you put the question on the comments, Philip, for us to be able to know it and ask it and answer it as we go along?
Okay, but anyway, what happened was after that day, I asked for a date.
Yeah.
I said, okay, so when can we? When can we hook up and have a date?
When can we see?
And it wasn't.
But it wasn't that same day. I've come back to youth service and came back before it happened.
Yeah, but what I mean is, after that meeting, the next meeting was a date.
Right.
Okay, so we fixed a date, and then we went out, and I didn't have all the money in the world. But of course, you see, one thing is this. You have to be able to gauge the situation around the person that you're looking at.
Right. What does she want?
What's
her language?
What's her language? Look at her very well. And so there was no way hope high. And you see, what I did was to say, okay, look, listen, I'm going to take this babe out. Let me find out. Would you like somewhere that is private? Or somewhere where we could just, hey, what's going on? A lot of people and all of that. And she said, no, she would prefer somewhere private. I didn't have a lot of money then, but I booked a restaurant, a very, very good restaurant. Between.
I had a lovely time that night. So for me, going out, this was the first time we're going out. He used to come and see us in the house, see me in the house. And this first time I'm going out, again, I couldn't sleep. Something about you doesn't make me not able to sleep.
It's a lot of people have to take a tranquilizer to sleep after seeing me.
so I'm up at night. I'm writing a poem for him. I'm doing stuff like that, and eventually he comes, and that's all that I was waiting for all day. But I had to kind of like hold my. See, you have to act. Hey, babe, girl.
No,
calm down.
All the act.
Hold on, no,
listen.
It's okay to form. It's okay to form.
All this you're forming.
It's part of it.
Yeah, it is part of it, but I had seen through it.
No, but the thing is that for him, he was used to girls, coming around him.
That's not a lie. I was used to having a lot of girls
coming around him, and he wasn't giving them any sign, but they liked that. So here I was not giving him that much attention.
Nina, now, bros, Nina, now.
And he was wondering. And he was wondering, who is this girl? I mean, there were girls who had more money than me, who had more whatever, who were coming, and I said to him, so we can make this work. And here I was in the scene and bluffing him. And he's thinking, who is this girl?
And Ekemeze is asking how I overcame the shyness.
Yes.
I look, when you have work to do,
you get it done.
Work is work. That was work. So you keep shyness on one side. And look, there were so many people. I knew that if this lady came into Trem fully,
they will find
the competition would be too much. So what I did
before I entered church,
collect her, then bring her to church. Nina, you feel me?
I mean, so that's what happened, and then so we went out for this date, and it was a really nice time. It was a quiet thing. I look like I'm extroverted, but I'm also very introverted. So it was a quiet outing, just us, that kind of thing. We're just having a conversation. I give him the poem. We were just talking.
Kaite, what do you mean that kind of show? Wait a minute.
We're just talking, and he made me laugh so hard. He made me laugh so hard. I had such fun that night, and then we went to Chocolate Royale.
Look, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When you're doing things like this, you don't do it you don't just get into it without preparing for it.
True.
It's like going to give a talk. You must prepare for
Absolutely.
it. So, trust me, I took my time to write out, to memorize some of the jokes that I was going to tell.
I didn't even know. It was so natural. I didn't even know.
Of course, you have to go natural.
It was so natural.
Yeah, but you see, if you're not serious with it, you will lose it. Okay, so I took her time to say, okay, this joke, I'm going to tell this joke and link it to the other joke.
Wow.
Okay, so that the fun continues for the night.
Absolutely, it was I cannot forget that.
So
night.
you don't just go into it and then you start stuttering and wondering what am I going to do. So you have to be prepared.
Because honestly, I was the kind of person that it was hard to impress me. I still have that thing. It has to be good. I'm not easily impressed. I'm not. It's my own way of cutting up stuff. I don't get easily impressed. So. That night I had an amazing evening. He was intelligent, he was smart, he was godly. It was an amazing combo. And I thought, oh wow, I had a lovely night. Then we went for chocolate and ice
so
cream.
we left after having dinner. We left and then we drove to Chocolate
Royale. Right.
And I don't know, she was coming from Uyo.
How dare you?
Kaite, please don't kill me on this one. She was coming from Uyo. So that's why it's good that you also locate in a good city.
I came from England.
Philip will be upset as well.
I came from England, guys.
She was coming from Uyo. So, look, all I did was to say, okay, the best of the spots. I'll take you to the best of the spots. So, I took her to Chocolate Royale. And Chocolate Royale was new.
It was new then. It was awesome, yeah.
And you had this array of flavors. And I mean, it's like, choose what you want, girl. Just take it, whatever you want.
So, and we're tasting our flavors. It was amazing.
So she got in there, all the lights, everything in the room. It was just fly, nice, beautiful night. Really nice. And so she really, when I saw her and the way she was looking, I said, I got it.
So he thought. I was still doing my grad right in a little way. And then we went to the car. Afterwards, went to the car and he was going to sing me a song. I like this part. But he had forgot, we had this Discman and Walkman then. Yes. And he forgot to bring the cord from home. So he had to, I said to him, why don't you sing the song? Sing the song, I'm here. Sing it.
Okay, well, what happened, I was going to play a song.
By Anita Baker.
And that song is...
Caught up in the rapture of you.
I think it was Rapture.
Love,
that was Rapture of Love.
Right.
What did he say? You will pay mega.
Yeah, sing a part of that song.
When we met, I always knew I will feel the magic for you on my heart constantly. In my arms is where you belong. I'll always here by me, baby. You make my love fly freely. I'm into in my life for all time. Caught up in the rapture of love. Nothing else can compare. Wanna feel the magic of you. The feeling always new. Caught up in the rapture. And so I
I melted. I literally melted. He don't want to do, bro. I'm like, whoa, he can sing. Oh my goodness, So that was a really cool night, man.
Yeah, so we did that.
We went home.
After that, I took her back.
On your way home, you said to me, I'm getting fun.
Yeah. How could I even forget that? So, so I said, look, man, you got it. Restaurant, fantastic. Jokes.
Also.
Chocolate Royale.
He was praising himself. Can you imagine?
No, listen. I spent a lot of money. Now it is the time to harness the money that you spent tonight.
Igbo. That's the Igbo in him. Hi, Anote.
Anote, how you doing?
How you doing?
So it was time for me to harness the reward of the money.
Market. Reward of the market. Business.
So I said, look, babe, I'm getting fond of you lately.
And what did I do?
And I want you.
So you said to take care of my heart. Was that what you said? I want you to do what to my heart.
No, that was later.
Okay,
after I said I want you to be my guest.
No, that was not that in the car. In the car, you said I'm getting very fond of you, and I heard, but I said I beg your pardon, just to hear it again in English. This is a matter of importance.
This is what they will put you through.
This is a matter of importance.
This.
You can't say you heard it once. You have to hear it twice. So don't say I said I beg your pardon.
Philip, you can use the rap.
I said
you go ahead and use the rap.
So Philip, you can rap, okay? I said I beg your pardon. Even though I heard him perfectly well, I had to be sure, man. You can hear echoes. Your mic can speak to you. Oh my
God! This is what they put you through. This is what they put you through. You say the first time they heard it. But she wants to hear it again.
And to confirm it.
This is what they put you through. So she said it, and I said it again. I thank God she didn't claim not to hear it the second time, because I would have said it like 20 times if she wanted me to say it 20 times.
So what did I say? I said, yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. So we drove home, and then we got to the house, and then my host know that this was a special outing, so they kind of like let the door open for me, let the gate open for me. So I get into the house.
Bless them.
Bless Muta and Jude. Bless Muta and Jude. And then I went to the table, and I put, so here I am forming like I'm a tough babe. I know what's going on. He cannot know yet. I'll hold the information inside me. That's what I was telling myself. I didn't know that it was leaking. It was beginning to leak. So I put my hand on the table, and he said, "You have lovely fingers." And I thought, oh my goodness. And then I felt so shy. Because it was like, it was showing that I was in this thing. I wanted to hold back a little more and show this guy, that I am a tough babe. You know what I mean? But it was just coming out. It was coming out. I said, babe, where's a trophy? You are a tough babe. You're an awardee, a recipient of a tough babe. Oh. The thing was just going out. So he said, lovely fingers, and I felt shy. So I looked down. I'm not a shy person normally, but this guy was cracking all my walls, breaking down all my walls.
Well, I told you guys I have the charm. And I can tell you how to build the charm.
And he got me up. And what did he say? He took me outside, right? Here was I, church girl, loved the Lord with all my heart. Him singing, tongue speaking. I went out with him. What happened outside?
Okay, when we went outside, then I said...
you held my hand. Can I hold your hand again? I'm like...
Yeah, so I request, I say, can I hold your hands again? Yeah. Now I have switched to baritone. It wasn't falsetto. Can I hold your hands again?
Oh, and the voice, then I melted. I did remain.
And, quite frankly, the level of obedience I found...
It felt surprising.
I felt like, man, Ken...
Is this for real?
The level of obedience that came out, I like, when I said, can I hold your hands again? The way the hands came out, I said,
the kid on lost.
Oh my God.
The kid on lost.
So I held her hands.
And then he said, would you be my guest for a very long time? Oh, be your guest, bro.
And a lot of people don't understand what I meant by that. Because some people ask,
why guest?
Why guest? You see, I've always wanted to treat whoever would be my wife as a guest. You know how you bring out your best wares for your guest? How you bring out the best china wares?
Right,
how you clean up the house to have your guest be comfortable. And so I wanted to have to be my guest. I wanted to always take care of her and always make sure that everything was speaking span for her. And just not just the china ware or something, but the heart.
Oh.
I wanted my heart to always see her someone special and someone coming home to visit me for the first time.
Right.
And someone that I really respected and cleaned up everything just to have her stay in my house. So that's why I said, be my guest for a very long time.
And it's been a very long time, right?
It's been 19 years.
Almost 20 years, yeah.
And she's still my guest.
Woo! Tripping me like crazy.
She's still my guest. So.
No, for me, yeah, go on.
Yeah, so when I said that, that atmosphere was
lit up, man.
Completely electric. Completely electric. Because, she was not just the only one feeling it now. I was also feeling it. So it was like I was dancing boogaloo, electric boogaloo,
You used to dance before,
I won a lot of laurels dancing, but I can't do it anymore. The stomach is big now.
Agree.
I used to do backflip. Not backflip, backspin and stuff like that. I used to do.
So the guys
I'm sure a lot of people are surprised.
I know.
And then I looked into her eyes and she looked into mine.
Oh my goodness.
And we got close to each other.
And then the curtains were drawn. And the curtains were drawn.
And then that was the end.
That was the end.
Yeah. Fast forward 19 years later,
Absolutely.
This is both of us.
So I wanted to, because can we have the questions, Philip, so we can just be asking and answering them as we're going on. Somebody said, that so what is it like, and what keeps the marriage? And one thing, you can't find your phone.
Okay, I'll get my phone.
And someone said, what helps you? When we started off the relationship, I remember asking my husband. I said to him, "Do people get tired? How do you keep a relationship, from getting to that point of, people getting..." So he said it's based on two things. There are two pillars that keep marriage. He said, one is commitment, and the other is responsibility, and that's stuck. You won't always feel like it. You won't always feel like love. No. I grew up hearing love is a feeling you feel. No. You won't always feel love, but when you're committed, when you're responsible, you create the atmosphere that sustains it. And that's important. That is important.
Lema, I'll tell you something. I will tell you something about what she just said. If you love with emotions, then your love affair will be the most turbulent because it will always be up and down, up and down. Imagine the kind of emotions that we have. Your emotion is the most unstable part of you. Your emotions would always go up and down. Look, if this place wasn't cool, and I would feel a different way about this room where I'm sitting in. Right. So I tell you something. If I had to love my woman because the environment was cool, then there's going to be a problem because when it is hot and I'm sweating, the love takes a walk. So you cannot love from your emotions. You have to love from a decision.
Right.
It's always a decision. This is the one. I want to be with this one. And then you make up your mind, no matter what happens, this is the person that I'm going to stick around with.
Right.
So God never loves us from emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a decision.
He decides to love us. He just makes a decision and that's it. This one I'm going to love. That one I'm going to love. Right. And that's it. Right. That's it. So what you need to do is come to that position where you decide that this is going to be the one that I show my love.
But someone sent a question and said, is there a particular soulmate for anyone? Someone asked that question. What do you think?
Is there a particular soulmate for anyone? It is yes and no. There isn't really any particular soulmate for anyone. You can bungle your relationship with your attitude. Yeah. You can destroy it. Yeah. So even though that person is the person, so to speak, meant for you, can lose it. You don't take things for granted in marriage. You watch what you say. You watch what you do. Every single word you say can make a difference in the marriage. The way you reacted, the things you said can make a difference. If you can make one sentence and that sentence becomes a sentence that brings down the marriage.
Absolutely. Right.
So what's the soulmate theory about then? It's what you do that determines what you get. It's how you make your bed that you lie on it. So you've got to be very careful. There isn't really any soulmate for anyone. It just depends on how you build.
You create your soulmate.
You create your soulmate. Yeah. What you want to see in your spouse is what you work on. She becomes a sculpture. Yeah. that you are working on, and that's what it is. No soulmate.
And someone says, love languages and temperament in courtship. Yeah. How do you, like you said, you must just keep developing yourself, and for me, for the woman, instead of you trying to get a man's attention, listen, know yourself, because when you know yourself, you eliminate. Okay, so go ahead with the questions there, Philip. You already know this person is good looking, but we cannot live together. You know by yourself, because as a woman, when you know your body, your body, your size, for example, when you go to a shop, I'm a size 10. If I go and see a size 12, but it looks like the cut would fit me, I don't have to try before buying it, because I know myself. Same with every woman. Don't be in a hurry to, no, calm down. Know yourself, because a wise woman builds her house. A foolish woman plucks it down with her own hands. A lot is on your table, woman. So you have to remember that. Build yourself. Spend time in his presence. He knows you. I said to God, you know what? You know me. Because I'm a prim and proper, but I'm a very strong-willed person. He said, you know the kind of person I am. You know who will be best for me. Because I can't be best for everyone. Somebody else will see me and think, you're too this, you're too strong-willed, I'm going to tame you, I'm going to cut your tail, because he may be insecure. So I had to find out, who am I? Self-awareness, self-worth, self-discovery. And by knowing myself, I realized who I couldn't relate with. We can be brothers, we can be friends, but when it comes to being husband and wife, I knew that I couldn't do it with everybody. I couldn't do life with everyone. But it had to be. If I didn't know myself, I had many guys coming up to me and saying, I've seen in a dream, it's you. And I'll say to them, go and dream again. That dream is the part 2 in that dream. I didn't say yes, because I knew myself. And I trusted that God would speak to me too. I couldn't depend on what God told a man. No. I and God had a relationship. So he would tell me as well who it was I was going to end up with. So I didn't want to depend on, I think you're a wife material. I had to be persuaded as well. So like what he said, you have to create that, know yourself, know your love language. Like the kind of person I am, I know what trips me. Not everything trips me. Not everything impresses me. He knows what language to speak to me. And even in relating, the Bible says that it's your kindness that brings us to repentance. He has a way of putting it across that I would just go, I'll be filled with remorse. It's not by shouting or we don't have that kind of shouting relationship. No. Even when we are quarreling, it's very poetic. It's very romantic. We just go quiet and then we know how we'll come back. But I had to have someone who understood that language. Who knows when to come in? Even when I'm saying, I don't want to talk, he knows when to come in, and when I'm saying I don't want, I may even want it more. He understands that language. So what I'm saying is that it's time for you to sit down and realize yourself, be self-aware, know your worth.
Yeah, let me just say this, that when you want to come into a marriage relationship, you have to take it very seriously.
Right.
Don't play around with it. Yeah. It's the single most important decision that you're going to make. So, Hollywood teaches you to see each other and fall in love immediately and get married. But that's the most, and that's why you can see that most of the marriages made in Hollywood are crashing. Okay, because it's just not true.
There's more to it.
There's more to
Absolutely.
it. Okay, and they teach you if you want to make a business decision, you take your time and look at the indices. Okay, when you want to make a decision that is even more important than marriage, you just come. Oh, I feel for you. I like you, and that's it. And then we go to the court and we get married. That is very dangerous thing. You don't make that decision with your emotions. You make it with your head. Your head has to be together.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happens. You draw up a SWOT analysis of yourself and the person that's going to be your mate. Draw up your own SWOT analysis. Your strength,
weaknesses,
your opportunities and threats. Draw it up. Know yourself very well. Okay, know those things that are your strengths, because those things that are your strengths are the things that you will put forward all the time.
True.
Okay, if you have like strengths that bring you up to like 60-70%, that's already good. That's already fantastic. And she also needs to know her strengths.
Right?
Yeah. So, and know your weaknesses.
Don't live in denial.
Don't live in denial. Yeah. For instance, I know that one of my strengths is the fact that I'm good with domestic work.
He has 6 brothers, no sisters, so the mother made them do that.
So my mom made me, in preparation of where I was going,
right.
My mom made me quite domesticated. She would ask me to do a whole lot of things. Then I didn't really like them, but I still did them, and I got used to, cleaning my house, my home, cleaning. I mean, we lived in a home where we had like 2 toilets, right? A flat with 2 toilets.
Right.
Now the other toilet was for every other person, and then my parents had the other ones.
Right.
So I actually cleaned the other toilets, irrespective of who used it. So I know my strength. I know that I'm domesticated in a way, all right, and I can take care of things around.
Oh yeah.
So that's one of my strengths. Now I'm not going to let my ego say to me, Ken, you are the man of the home. Don't clean this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, I won't do that. That's clear-cut stupidity. Clear-cut stupidity, because that's my strength.
Right.
And I know that if I exhibit that, it will take care of some other weaknesses that I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so she knows that, look, okay, well, he may not be so good on this,
but he's fantastic with this.
But he's fantastic with this.
That's what happens.
Now, what everybody is looking for, and because I'm a brand consultant, I know this is perfectly true. What people are looking for is a reason to love you. A reason to love you. She goes all around me all the time and says, oh, look, you have so much fidelity, and that's one of the reasons why I love you and all of that. Now, I'm not trying to make that up. This is my strength. Right. I had made up my mind that if you've seen one, you've seen all. So there is no point to move from one to the other, to the other, to the other. You're creating more problems for yourself.
True.
And I know that's a strength for me. And over the years, that has become even a very, very palpable strength in marriages.
Absolutely.
Because people have become so filled with infidelity.
Right.
So I'm going to put that forward. I'm going to do that. I'm going to, that's my strength.
Right.
Okay, so there might be other areas where I'm weak, but when she looks at me and she looks at my strengths, she says, oh, I'm not going to find this anywhere else.
Absolutely.
But as well with her, she has some strengths and she has some weaknesses, and I see those strengths that she has, and she exhibits them as well. And I say to myself, oh yeah, even though this is not right, that's not right, but this she does very well. Okay, so I leave all the things she doesn't do well, and even though I'm trying also to make sure that she improves on them, and focus on her strengths. When I focus on that, I don't get distracted at all. And when I focus on that, the Holy Spirit and you cannot take this away from relationship, would always, at all times, the Holy Spirit would always, at all times, bring your knowledge to those strengths. And when he does that, he does it in very, very subtle and simple ways. He can send you a message of what has happened in another marriage and show you how the woman in that marriage hasn't done something very well that your girl does perfectly well. And he says, okay, look at that. And then he speaks to you, which brings me to the fact that, look, if you're looking for a man, if you're looking for a woman, look for a man or a woman who fears God.
Bottom line.
Who fears God. If he fears God, he will listen to God when God says, no, that's not it. You're going the wrong path. If she fears God, she will listen to God when God says, no, that's not the right path. And that's why it is very important that if you are a Christian, you should look for another Christian to get married to, because God cannot reach anyone who is not his son. Is there a question coming through there?
Gospel said, no, what people are looking for is a reason to love you.
Oh, okay, he's making a comment. So that's basically it. That's basically it. That sums it all up.
True.
You have to look for a man that fears God. And some people say, oh, how do I know he fears God? How do I know this? How do I know that? You certainly will know. There is no relationship that people have had and that they've courted for a short while that you have not seen the strengths and the weaknesses in the man or the woman. God brings it to your knowledge. But you see, the problem is that most times people
live in denial.
They live in denial. They are so caught up with the emotions. They've taken their heads away from the relationship. And then they say, oh, he's going to change. No, he's not going to change.
Nobody. You can't change nobody. The guy you marry is going to
No, he's not going to change.
Someone says, what do I do when a lady tells me she's not convinced yet about us getting married? Isn't that because this is the guy asking, doesn't that mean that he needs to develop himself some more? Because she's not looking for just, good looks and stuff. She also wants to know, can you sustain the marriage? Are you working? Do you have money? Talk about that.
Well, she look, it's personal to her.
Okay.
You see, when you get into a relationship, what you now need to do is get information.
Yeah.
If she says she doesn't feel convinced, it just simply means that you guys haven't been talking well enough.
Right.
Because if you have been talking well enough, you would know exactly what she wants, what she's looking forward to, what is her idea of a home. And it's so easy to pinpoint why she's making that statement that you're not yet ready. I mean, it's just an hour discussion with someone you're engaged to or even looking forward to get married to find out exactly what she means by that. And once you find out what it is, then you take that information and look at yourself. X-ray it within the perimeters of who you are and see if she's acting above your person or she's being too materialistic. Then you can make a proper decision based on the information that you have. But you need that information.
And someone who is a helper, I would say, will push you. You shouldn't be married for so long and both be the same. Both of you should, push yourselves, encourage yourselves, and make yourselves achieve more. There's more to attain, but between yourselves. Someone says, how can one manage a relationship where the male is not always around?
Well, that's a very difficult thing to manage if the guy isn't around all the time. Is that from courtship or after marriage?
I think it's after. She didn't say, but I think it's after marriage.
After marriage.
Yes.
It's difficult to handle. But it's something both of you have to discuss very well, so that the routines and the regimens can be established.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how important he's not being around. If he's not being around, it's because he has to work.
Work, exactly.
Then you have to, and technology has made it a lot better.
Easier for you
can have Zoom sessions and see yourself with the children and so on and so forth. But it's not something that I would readily encourage, except it just has to happen. You have to find because you're not seeing each other regularly, you have to establish discussion times, telephone times.
Right.
Okay. It has to be a regimen now.
Right.
It's not when you feel like and when you don't feel like.
Create a pattern.
You have to create a pattern and create a regimen where you call at certain times, and you have Zoom meetings. You can see the family. You can talk to them, and then if you have children, you have to explain to them why he can't be there for them at this moment. Why he can't be around. And whenever he comes in, you have to make the most of every single minute when he's around.
True.
But it is not something that I encourage, but I understand that it does happen.
Sometimes.
Because
communication is a very important thing. Communication is very, very important. Call. Don't say, he goes to call. Find out how my husband would rather write to me. Mm-hmm. He write me, if he wants to tell me something very important, he write a note to me. I'd rather have a talk. I have a conversation with you. Find out how best to communicate with your partner or with the person that you communicate. It brings out things. You will know the person. And then when you see a sign you don't like, don't pretend about it. No, don't say, well, if I talk now, he will go. Never see yourself as if, I'm lucky to. No. Listen, there are enough men for the women. That is the truth. There are enough men for the women. That's the truth. Don't see yourself as if, if I push him too hard, he will leave. There are many. No. It's not worth it. There are many guys. So you manage a relationship and he tortures you, he abuses you, and you take it because that there are very few. It's not true. Your own will come. So uphold your standards.
Let me just say to every man who is listening, if you torture and you raise your hand against your wife, then you are not a man.
Loud, sir.
You're not a man. No, that's just the truth about it. If you beat your wife, I've never raised my hands to touch my wife or to beat her or do anything. I've never, for 19 years. I mean, because there are just many other ways that you can communicate your displeasure.
And a woman's mouth is sharp. It's true.
No matter how sharp it is, to be frank with you, you are just not a man. You're not a man. You should never do it. You should never beat a woman. It doesn't make sense. There are many things that you can do to register your displeasure.
Well, don't touch her.
But to beat her, what for? What are you? Yeah. What? Even if you weren't bigger,
okay.
Even if you weren't heavier, it is a mark of an emotional defect,
right?
For you to raise your finger or raise your hands and beat a woman. You are emotionally unintelligent.
True.
And you're thinking, you have a thinking disorder. And you need to get someone, you need to visit with a therapist to have a session with you. Something is wrong with your mind. You see, it's not everybody who is talking like, who is around is mentally is mentally okay. So it's a mental disorder actually to beat a woman. So I don't think you should ever get into that. Yeah.
Someone says, what does it mean for God to approve a partner? We all say, God has given me a partner. What are the signals or signs to see that God has approved a partner? And somebody else said, what should I look out for before getting married? Just probably the same thing.
Well, you're talking about how God does not approve your partner. God does not have any approval to make. The only approval that God has is she born again, truly born again, and is he born again, truly born again? That's
Christian, yeah.
That's all. That's all God. God is interested.
The rest is you.
The rest has do with you. The rest is your job. Is your job. Look. You would know her behavior, her attitude. You would know when you caught.
Yeah. And caught. Not caught for a week. Caught for a week.
You would know. You will understand. These signals will come out. Okay, so it's not you do an analysis of who she is. Don't fool yourself.
True.
Do not fool yourself. Do an analysis where she's coming from. Who is she? What are her likes? What are her
friends?
She tells me about one guy who was trying to toast her some time ago, before I came on the scene, and somebody who had known her asked the guy, You sabi poem.
Oh boy, you sabi poem.
Oh boy, you sabi poem. Because look, if you know sabi poem,
this woman.
and if you know fit cope with poem, leave this woman alone. Do you understand? That's a small part of it. But he's telling a guy, look, this is the kind of person she is. She is.
It's a big poem.
So don't just do, oh, she's a beautiful man, she's a beautiful man. Can you write poems? Can you interpret poem?
Or sing Anita Baker's songs?
Can you interpret poem? Because if you cannot, and if you cannot sit down to listen to poems,
exactly,
and appreciate poems,
then you can't. How do you want to know how to communicate? That's her language.
I know I can write poems.
His poems are Jackie. His poems are Jackie.
I know I can write poems.
You just move over here. I move over here. I don't jam it.
Can you say, please tell your sister? Look, I'm coming with my own book of poetry.
But there are other things. He sings beautifully well. So he sings to my ear, and that's amazing.
So God does not have any particular spouse for you or anything. He's just
make your bed and lie on it.
Absolutely. So
but you also must know who are you compatible with. That's your decision. That is you should want to know that.
The first thing you have to look at is, because it's all about physical attraction at first, at a distance.
Right.
If you want to marry a woman, what trips you in the physical outlook of a woman? For some people is the hips, for some is the breast, for some is a beautiful face. Make sure that at least you have 70, 80% or 90% of what you want.
Oh,
don't neglect that. Look, I have a friend who says he likes them with their back big. He eventually marries a woman that has one big backside, and in fact, that was what made me ask the question. And he said, "Oh, Ken, that's how I like it.
I like it that way."
So don't throw away that and be looking for character, because at the end of the day, you will look at her and she will annoy you the way she looks.
Looks are important. Someone said, "Why am I yet to be taken?" And why am I yet to be taken? And it says, "Are unhealthy patterns exposed more after marriage?" We should be getting ready to stop now. It's like I have passed. We should stop.
Okay.
Are unhealthy patterns exposed more after marriage? The thing is that during courtship, don't get my advice. If you get intimate or get physical, is that what you say? You would lose sight of the important things. There are things to ask about. Where is this guy going? What's his vision? What's his plan? There'll be time for sex and time for bedmatics. But get the priorities right first. What kind of person is this? What kind of woman is she? Where is she going to in life? What are her priorities? What are her interests? What is she inclined to? What is he inclined to? Those are things you want to trash before you say yes. So you want to know those things. You watch them. Like I said, when he came for the birthday party, he came for the party at 7. And why? Even though he wanted to see me, he had come the first time, I wasn't nice to him. He came at 7 because it was a choir practice. Even though he wanted to see me, it was more important to him to serve God. That was for me a sign, a good sign. That this guy can control himself and still, he didn't come in the morning for the party. The party was up for like 1 or 2. He came at 7. But he came because he was doing something for the Lord. It was very important to me to see that. And the way kids would jump on him made me know that he would play a good fatherly role, because children liked him. Children, you can't fool children. If you're not nice, they will just diss you. But children liked him, and for me, those were all signs for me that this guy was a family person, because family is crucial for us. Family is important to me. So even my siblings, they want to borrow my husband, and I have to remind them that, can you guys just kind of allow me enjoy my husband? My mom calls him my dear son Ken. I'm like, how far? As in, you understand? Can you? But so all those things were important to me. Family focus, because I'm a very home person. People think I'm always out. I'm a very home person. So home has to be homely for me to enjoy. So he's home to me. I'm home to him. And, that's how it works. But you have to know yourself and know what you want. What do you want? You can't say, I want this and I want. What do you want in a man? That's very important. and then you keep looking out for it. When it comes to you, calm down, bluff him. Don't jump. No. Because for him, that was important as well. Because he was used to girls, tripping over him and coming over him. And here was a girl a fine babe, but she no sent. Now that one, who be the babe now? I not be me. Come say me, but I'm a fine guy. You're a fine guy, but the babe still, you understand? So that was also key. Bluff the guy.
It's all right. It's okay. I'll take it today.
Bluff the guy.
Someone says, why
are unhealthy patterns exposed more after marriage? Is that what I'm asking?
Unhealthy patterns.
But why am I yet to be taken that one?
Well, I was going, but okay. I mean, let me say a little about unhealthy. Definitely, you're going to see one or two things after marriage that you didn't see before. But if you were very, very observant, you would have seen most of it.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Nobody ever really hides who he is. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. You would see it. And if you're very, very sincere with God, He will open some of these things to you.
True.
So He will tell you. But the thing is that most people wave over it, browse over it, and say, "Oh no, it doesn't matter." If you look at it, if you know who you are, and you have a trait in a woman that you cannot cope with, it's time for you to start taking a step backwards. No matter what it is, don't be pressured by the fact that men haven't come this long and this guy has now come. I should just go ahead and do. When you know that these traits, because a lot of people who come up with infidelity during marriage show the traits
before marriage.
Some of them will be the ones to try to have sex with you before marriage.
Right.
When somebody has that kind of attitude, just know that he cannot control himself. And so it's likely that even after marriage, he will have that problem. I'm not saying it's
not a blanket statement,
but
it can be a sign.
That's a sign. So it's always there for you to see before marriage.
Right.
So definitely you have one or two attitudes that crop up after marriage that you didn't see before then. But
most of them?
Yeah,
you see most of them.
But you see most of them. But what you have to keep in mind is that if she has qualified on 60%, 60%.
I need 100, Jerry.
100. If she's done the 60%, focus
on the 60%. Right.
Talk about it.
Right.
Fill your heart with it.
Right.
Because if you fill your heart with it, you would have love for her.
True.
Okay, then you keep working on the 40%. I've been working on 40% for a long time. But it doesn't change anything.
Right.
It doesn't change because I made a decision. This is the woman I'm going to live
with.
So I'm not looking. And you see, because I've made that decision, if I see a girl, maybe in a meeting, maybe a business meeting or whatever, I categorize her. Okay, this girl, the only reason I want to talk with this lady is business. Now, if it is not business, if the reason that I met her is not business, is just, leisure and all of that, then I don't put her number in my phone. This is my own decision. I don't put that number in my phone. I will remove it from my phone. I will not keep that number.
You will not store the number.
I will not store the number. Because I know, okay, maybe I like this girl. She looks good. Something about her that caught my fancy. Then I begin to build a wall around me against her. I don't keep her number in my phone because I know we could start chatting.
Right.
And the moment you start chatting, you have started.
True.
The moment you pick the phone and you start calling, you have started it. So I take that number out. Now, if I leave your number in my phone because it's about business, the day you start talking anything other than business, that number is going to leave my phone.
I trust you.
No, I'm very serious about it. Some people think I'm very hard no, but you see, I would not admit something that is going to come and destroy my home and to destroy something that I have hold so dear in my heart. Okay, so I wouldn't admit it. So you ask me to come out for a date and something, have a meeting. It's either his business or family or nothing. I don't create that environment to get into trouble.
Right.
So when you create that, I have a lot of people, okay, I meet someone in church, we're in the same group in church, she takes my number, oh, we say hello in church, and then she begins to send me messages, how you doing, this. I will not reply it. Don't send it. I won't reply it. I will not reply it. I'm sorry, I will not. But when we see in church, I say, hello, how you doing? But that's where it ends. You see, I don't
boundaries.
I don't want to boundaries. I don't want to create any environment that would now be difficult for me to walk away from.
Because sometimes it's not planned. But it just starts with a little chat, hello.
A lot of times it is not planned.
It's not planned. So you have to
not planned.
So you create the boundaries early enough. I remember somebody calling me after I spoke at an event in church, in another church. Somebody called me and said, and so he got my number, I was a guest speaker. So he got my number, he called me and said, his first question to me was, are you married? So I told my husband, come and see you have competition. Someone is asking me if I'm married. And I said to myself, you don't even know me. You just see me, and think, oh, a nice face. Can you live? Do you know the kind of person I am? Can you manage? Do you know my wahala? I have plenty wahala. So, but I'll tell him there and then. I mean, if he's not in where I am, I'll call him. Do you know what happened? Okay, just girls. So there are no secrets. What happens? I'll tell you what happened. You know what happened? Hey, I'll put it like that. I'll put it like that. But we come up and talk. We are friends. So we build friendship. We are partners. And so that question of who does what. There are still traditional roles for the woman and for the man, but like I said, he grew up with his mom showing him how to, take care of a home. So if I can't, he would. If he can't do something that he should do as a man, I would do it gladly because we are partners. Because we are also friends. It's not he did not do it. I will see how far they'll come and disgrace us. No. Because we are partners. So we have home projects. We have business projects. We have things that we do to build the brand, the Ebbi brand. It's our brand, it's our name, it's our children's name. So it gives us joy to make up for the next person. If I can't do something, he will quickly make it up for me, and vice versa. Because we're family, we are friends, we are couple, we are a brand. So that thing of I can't do it because it's his role, it's his duty, he should do it. It doesn't really come. We know what we're supposed to do as wife and husband and wife. But just in case something happens and the other party cannot do it on time, we know, we both know it. We can always come in for each other and then talk about how we can work it out later on, because we're partners. So there's room that has to be created. And it comes from commitment, from trust. If you don't trust your spouse, you think, no, my money is my money, his money is our money, that kind of thing. You know,
my money is our money. Your money is your money. My brother Akpan, are you seeing? That's how it is. But let me say something. As we round up, very quickly. A lot of people are like, okay, you have a beautiful woman. When you see a guy beside her, don't you get a little jealous and all of that? How do you handle? Let me tell you, and even. It doesn't even have to be a beautiful woman. I mean,
a beautiful guy,
a handsome guy, or beautiful. Let me tell you something. I have no complex at all.
True.
If you are in a relationship with a woman,
right,
and another man can come into that relationship, you need to check yourself a little bit. No, I know some women are not, despite how good the man is, but check yourself, because you are closest to her,
right?
And you should be able to. You have all the privileges,
absolutely, all the information, all the data.
So you should know how to go around it. And again, give all of yourself into a marriage, so much so that you say to yourself, if she goes outside, then that's her problem, because I have given everything that a man can give into this marriage, in a relationship. Once you've done that, then you've done all that you can do.
Right.
If she goes outside, if she does it gets into infidelity, then it's her business. And I don't go taking her phone to check
neither. We both have our password.
I don't.
But the truth about the matter is, when a man is secure, oh my goodness, that in itself is a boost. It will boost the woman. There's nothing, my husband believes in me like 200%. I tell him that, everything, you can do that. You can't do it now. I'm like, I told myself, if it was a lie, it's too late. I believe it now. Because he would put in his mind that one, you can do it. He would say as if it's nothing. I told him that one day I will physically fly to you because you believe in me so much. That one, you can do it. That's simple, you can. So that's how he talks to me about it. So even when I'm not very sure about it, I hear him. I remember that this guy, I have his support 200%. So that kind of like gives me the impetus to want to dare and do something. And whatever it is I'm doing, my husband is fully supportive. If I'm not back home on time, he just wants to know, are you safe? Is there traffic? There's no always of where are you now? I called you 10 times and my phone is almost always on silence. I know some of you here have called, you call low. So he can call me and have missed call, but you know that maybe my phone is on silent. He trusts me. We trust each other. If I tell him I'm going here, that's where I'm going. If I say I'm going to be here, that's where I'm going to be. There's no reason for suspicion or reason to suspect me. And that gives me the courage to just be. If I say I'm going here and I have to change my route, I'm not worried that I wonder if it's, no. He knows me. We know each other. We know our priorities. We know what we like and how we think. And that's for me, that's very important. The trust is very key. So I'm not looking for any, whether I travel alone or wherever it is I am, he knows for certain it's for the good of the family. And that trust for me it's amazing.
All right. And I just want to touch one more question and then we'll round up. There's somebody that said, why have I not been taken?
Yes.
You see, at every point... I
don't know if it's a woman or...
Well, I guess maybe a woman because that's more difficult. I think basically, if she checks, somebody may have come to her that they're probably not the same height with her, or it's not this and that. So right. Sometimes good packages or very, very expensive packages come in very small... Good gifts.
Yeah, come in very small packages. Yeah.
So don't throw people away. And if you don't like a short guy, but check if there are other things that are good that you like physically about the guy, and don't just throw the guy away.
Because better a short guy who loves you than a tall guy who would mistreat you. I promise you.
And again, I don't know if you have placed yourself in the right positions.
Right.
Some people are so introverted that they don't come out. They are not in a position where people can see them.
Yeah, okay.
They're not in a position where people can see them.
Right.
People can't see them. They're
not visible.
They're not visible.
Right.
They're not in groups.
Right.
They're just withdrawn. And it's a physical thing first before you go into the
mental and spiritual.
Yeah, mental and spiritual. So you have to come out. You have to be in a place and be someone that is also happy. Nobody wants to have anybody
melancholic
and sad and withdrawn and so on and so forth. Remember, he doesn't have that spiritual knowledge of who you are.
True.
So it's what you expose that he's going to make a decision based on. And just make sure you are available, and not available in the sense that you give yourself out to everybody. But I mean, you should be around.
Don't be in your house.
Don't be in your house. Look, we say, whatever it is, show up.
Show up.
If it's business, show up.
It's relationship.
Just show up. If relationship, show up. Don't stay away. Show up. Get there. Be there. It is in that process that he will find you.
Locate you. True.
Show up. Just come out. Do something. Don't say I'm all about business. If I met her at the beach.
Imagine. Not in church.
Not why she was running one business or the other. I met her in the beach.
Playing.
So we were playing.
Right.
So you've got to show up. And then when these people come around, don't use your targets for the people to push them away.
Calm down and listen first.
Calm down. Check the guy out. Right. Look at him. See if he's got the 60%. Don't look for 100%. you may not get the 100. Some people are lucky to get the 100%.
How many did I find you? How many did I find you?
You know now you found like 100%.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this session. I hope you have too. Thank you, Philip, for putting this together. Thank you, Oni. I'm sorry we couldn't have that, I thought you could compare it, but it didn't work that way. But thank you so much for putting this together and putting the questions together. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you everyone who came, who stopped by, who shared the time with us. I mean, it's past 7 and you're doing other things on Saturday night, but I really want to appreciate you for taking out time. We enjoyed the one, and hopefully we can have another session. Thank you, Winifio. It was good to see you. Thank you, everyone who stopped by.
Thank you, my brother Akpan.
Thank you,
thank you, Nina.
Thank you, Ekemize. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Ekemize. Thank you, Akimefon. We appreciate you, and we hope that we can do this again and share our story some more. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't see that coming. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. Okay.